I recently looked at what I consider to be the strongest reveal in modern Doctor Who, the return of the Master in Utopia. But that got me thinking about a very similar plot beat in modern Doctor Who that I think is the worst reveal of the modern era. Let's get into the vortex and take a look.
Well, we'd all like a lot of things that aren't going to happen.
On Christmas Day 2023, viewers were introduced to Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor and Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday in the church on Ruby Road. A pretty run-of-the-mill Doctor Who episode until the credits started rolling. During the credits, these were interrupted by a mid-credits scene that showed Ruby Sunday's neighbour, Mrs. Flood, played by Anita Dobson. And she looked directly at the camera and uttered the line, "Never seen a TARDIS before." This threw fans into a frenzy of theorising about who Mrs. Flood could possibly be. Theories included a lot of the usual ones when a new female character is introduced. Was this the Doctor's granddaughter, Susan Foreman? Was it River Song? Was it a new incarnation of the Master/Missy? But a theory that popped up quite a bit was that Mrs. Flood was renegade Time Lord, the Rani. The Rani was one of the few big villains from classic Doctor Who that had not made a return in the entire run of the modern era of the show. She was a character who was always theorised to be returning, so it was no surprise that people instantly thought Mrs. Flood would be the Rani. So, was this moment in the church on Ruby Road the worst reveal? No, I think this was a fun moment that got people theorising. Unfortunately, as we continued through the 15th Doctor's era, we continuously seen Mrs. Flood, especially once we got to season 2 of the Disney era. She appeared in every episode wherever the Doctor's adventures took him and companion Belinda Chandra. Although Mrs. Flood kept popping up, I feel like we never really got anything new to work on who she really was. Instead, she was just constantly being dangled in viewers' faces, making people go, "Oh yeah, she's going to be important at some point." Cut to episode 6 of season 2, the Interstellar Song Contest. It's important to note this was the final regular story before the two-part finale. In this episode, we once again see Mrs. Flood in the same location as the Doctor and Belinda. And she is one of the people at the Harmony Arena cast into space to die a slow and painful death. In this episode, the Doctor figures out a way to save the day and leaves while the remainder of the people are revived. After the Doctor leaves, we see Mrs. Flood revived. This is the moment we finally find out who she is. Having sustained serious damage in space, Mrs. Flood begins to regenerate, telling audiences that she is indeed the Rani. That's right, after years of speculation, the Rani was back, and it fell so flat. Honestly, the reveal was such a disappointment, especially when you look back to how the Master was first introduced into New Who. But in the case of Mrs. Flood, she just says she is the Rani and then bi-generates, meaning as soon as we find out who she is instantly replaced, and Anita Dobson simply becomes a lackey for Archie Punjabi's Rani. What a letdown. What makes this reveal even worse is that the following two-part finale, Wish World and the Reality War, we get no clear indication as to what the Rani's agenda is, as she lacks any real threat. Considering this era of Doctor Who was already rehashing the last of the Time Lords arc, you may as well use that to try and build a relatively strong dynamic between the Doctor and the Rani, but we just didn't get that. But honestly, I think the biggest problem with making the Rani into a big reveal is that even in Classic Who, she was a very meh character. At least the Master spanned multiple incarnations of the Doctor and was a major presence in both the John Pertwee and Peter Davison era. The Rani, on the other hand, had two stories in Classic Who. Well, 3 if we count Dimensions in Time. And I don't know if any of these stories are anyone's favourites. So in conclusion, the reveal of the Rani lacks any real punch and genuinely feels like one of the last descents of Doctor Who into irrelevance and reliance on the past, even in circumstances where an idea should just be left in the past.
So much for the two Ranis. It's a good night from me.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to check out some of my other content if you enjoyed this one, especially my video on the best reveal in modern Doctor Who. And remember to like and subscribe. I've been Nathaniel, and I'll see you in the vortex.